Hey there, it's Bronwyn. Welcome to this episode of the Daily Kernel. Today I want to talk to you about abundance. A few years ago, about 9 years ago, in my study of my favorite topic, which is faith, I came to a point where I found out that I believed something that I thought was wisdom that ended up being just a really bad lie that I had talked myself into and that I had picked up from somewhere around me, probably when I was a little kid. And I believed that there wasn't enough in this world for everybody to have some. I really didn't believe it. I believed that there wasn't enough, and there wasn't enough for me, and that I would have to do without, and that I would just have to deal with it. Well, I have this conflicting thing going on at this point where I'm studying faith and asking and receiving and, all of this promise. Well, if I ask and receive, is it going to take something away from somebody else? Oh, then I would feel so guilty. Anyway, in answer to my question about that, when I started facing it and really wanted to make change, I wanted to know the truth. That was the key. I did want to know the truth. I knew that there was something conflicting with what I believed and the true thing that I was learning about. So I had to go dig in and figure out where I was off. Anyhow, I got this dream to answer my question. And yes, I'm sitting in my bathtub because this is the only place I could go to be alone. Anyway, we do what we must as mothers. So this dream that I had, I was in a minivan flying over the top of this storage unit fair. There were tons of people milling about. They were going from storage unit to storage unit, looking at things and buying things, and there was food and crafts. It was just like a regular fair, only it was in a storage unit. There were tons of people. And we're flying overhead, and I'm in this flying minivan with a bunch of people that I didn't really know. I actually didn't know any of them. I just felt connected to them. I knew we were in this together, and we're just doing this journey together. Well, we're flying around, no direction. That was crazy. And I said, look, and there was this storage unit in this bar corner that looked like nobody was going over to it, and I just felt drawn to it. I had to go look. So I had the driver fly me down and park. And I got out. Nobody else got out with me. I kind of got the feeling that I had to pioneer this for these people in my circle of influence. And I went and I opened this door. And it was unlocked, so I was able to go in. And the first thing I noticed was that it just looked like shelf after shelf after shelf, row after row like that, of junk. And I didn't look very hard. I couldn't see the forest for the trees. I really only saw a whole bunch of stuff, so much so that I couldn't land my eyes on one thing. Not then. Not at that point. So I looked over to my right. I was a little overwhelmed. I looked over to my right, and down there on the floor next to me was a little toy kitchen that looked like it had been really well loved by some child. It had crayon on it. It was a little beat up. And I thought, I wonder if, I was fascinated with it. My kids, at that point in time, I had really little kids, and they would have loved this toy kitchen. So I was looking at it thinking, I want to get this. I wonder if I can take this home with me, or if anybody wants it. It looks like it's just stashed here. And so I started looking at it, wishing that I could take home this toy kitchen. And I noticed something. Off the side of the kitchen, there was this little spigot. And under the spigot was a little Dixie cup kind of cup. And I thought, that's weird. I looked at it, and I'm like, that's a little different. And I examined it, and it was like a real spigot. It wasn't part of this toy, but it was coming off of this toy. It was very like a hidden, awesome refreshment thing. And I thought, I'm just going to see what comes out because it looks real. So I put the cup under, and I opened up the spigot, and out came this lovely chocolate milk. And it was cold. It smelled good. And I went, nah. And I went to put it down because I don't what has been going on with this little toy kitchen. I didn't know if it was dirty inside. I didn't know where this chocolate milk came from. And I started turning away, and something came into my mind. I needed to give this a try. I needed to try this. Stop assuming. So I went, oh, okay, I'm going to give this a shot. And I filled up my little Dixie cup up with chocolate milk. I finished filling it up, and I took a little sip. And it was good. And I saw that it was good. It was wonderful. It was like the best chocolate milk I'd ever had in my whole life. And I wanted to share it with everyone. And the way that it came to me was so miraculous that I wanted to share that with everyone. So I went out and I tried to get the people in the car to take. And they were like, oh, that's weird. We'll see what happens. And then I started going out to the fair and getting people and drawing them over to here. I'm like, this is the best chocolate milk on the planet. And they were like, where did it come from? This doesn't look like a regular booth. It's free, you say? I'm not trusting this. And so they handed me back their Dixie cups and they wouldn't partake. So I just had my fill. I got what I wanted out of it. And I kind of gave up on trying to convince people that they wanted something when they didn't trust it and they didn't want to trust it. They wanted this package to look different, this package to look normal, like something they were used to. And they weren't willing to give it a try. It was a little hard for them to get their head around. So I turned around, I got my fill of my chocolate milk. It was delightful. And I turned around and I looked at the rest of the storage unit and the row after row after row of stuff. And on this first row, I noticed that there were things on the shelf that I wanted. There were things that I didn't want too, but there were things that I wanted on the shelf. And I remember things like craft kits and fabric for sewing with. I loved quilt. And I saw makeup sets of, the best. Everything was the highest quality. The things that I would want if money were no option. And so I started looking, and I just on this first shelf, I grabbed something off. I'm like, I grabbed it to look at it. Remember, I was like, this isn't my storage unit. This isn't my stuff. I didn't feel like I could just take it. But I picked it up like I was at the store and I examined it. And when I did that, another thing of the same exact thing appeared on the shelf. Same quality, same exact thing was there for the taking. For me or for somebody else who wanted to come and get it. And I knew that no matter how many of those I took off the shelf, if I wanted 1,000 of them, another one would reappear and the next person could come and get it. And that was perfectly good and right and absolutely true. And I was like, well, I'm going to take what I want then. And I took what I wanted, and I didn't overdo it. I'm kind of frugal, and I used to be a pack rat, so I'm a recovering pack rat. And I didn't, in my dream even, that was showing up. I didn't want to take too much because I only wanted just what I really wanted. And so I didn't take stuff to put in storage. I took stuff that I wanted to give as gifts. I took stuff that I wanted to give to my kids. And that's mostly what I did, because I had this thing where I didn't feel like I could do anything for me. But I did get some makeup and then the rest I just got for my kids and for my friends and my family that I wanted to give things to. And I went back out to the car and I started loading it up with the stuff, and they're like, where'd you get that? And I'm like, in there. And I know it's mine. And you can have some too. And so these people started going in, and we started looking at the whole storage unit for things. And it was so big. It was never ending. There was no end, and I kid you not. And everything in there was totally the highest quality. And when someone would take something off the shelf, another thing appeared for the next person who wanted to come and get some. It didn't matter how many we got. It didn't matter how many dollars we took from the shelf that had dollars. There appeared more dollars for the next person who wanted it. And it didn't matter how big our goal was, what we wanted to do with that money. It didn't matter how much of it we took. There was still plenty for the next person. And it was very powerful. And we found, we filled up the car with the things that we wanted. We knew where it was and how to go back and get more. And we flew away. And that's how the dream ended. And I woke up and I just examined this dream. I remember it today like it was yesterday. It was so powerful. I called it the storage room dream. And I did write about it 9 years ago when I was doing my blogging business back then, when I was doing the article marketing and teaching people how to do internet network marketing on their online with their marketing. Anyway, but I remember this dream very, very vividly, and I remembered it today. And do you ever look back at your life and realize how much of an impact something small made on you, and how much it changed your mind, and then you realize what happened to you because of the change in your mind, and how powerful it is to let go of things that you think are wisdom that are really just a lie that you believed. I watch people with this money thing. It's okay to go after money. If you want, like for me, I want to take my kids to have really fun experiences. Going and doing things. They love to go out to eat, and they love to go play laser tag, and there was a time when we couldn't do anything. And I don't feel sorry for going after money so that I can take my kids to do whatever we want, whenever we want, and make these memories. There was a time that I really did feel guilty about wanting that, though. But the fact is, the true thing is that this world is designed to be abundant and to be enough abundant for everybody. And you too. And I leave that with you to think about. And I hope that it helps you to root out some things that are maybe getting in your way of popping your dream seeds. And I wish you great, great success. I'll talk to you later.